Well, this outcome, this report, I think was completely predictable. The UN Human Rights Council is no different from its predecessor, the discredited Human Rights Commission. The new council, 10 years old now roughly, has spent the overwhelming bulk of its time criticizing Israel. Even after the Obama administration had the U.S. Join the council, it's had no impact. All of that was predictable as well. So when the Human Rights Council decides it's going to investigate a conflict in which Israel is involved, you can write the report in advance. This is a circumstance that happens again and again and again, and this is simply one more example of it. The fact is that the report ignores all of the many steps that Israel took, well in excess of the requirements of international law, to confine its activity to military objectives, to protect innocent civilian populations, to do everything it could to minimize collateral damage. The cause of the damage that did take place was the result of the Hamas strategy of concealing its military activities in civilian locales and using civilians as shields. You can go through this episode by episode that the report recounts, and there's simply no other explanation than that this is another example of the pervasive U.S. bias against Israel. I think he believes that the Palestinians have been mistreated historically, and that it's his responsibility to create a Palestinian state that makes up for that. I think he misunderstands history. I think it's missing in places what actually happened. I think his ideology blinds him to the reality. I think it is, in many respects, a European social democratic third world ideology in which the Palestinians are the victims, and he doesn't see that, in fact, they've been misused by others in the region as the tip of the spear against Israel. So he's looking at the region through the wrong end of the telescope, and I think that explains much of his policy.
What do you think Israel needs to do in this situation?
Well, it's unfortunately a familiar pattern. Israel is going to have to explain piece by piece what's wrong with this report, because you cannot allow the historical record to go unanswered, and to try again to explain to people who don't want to listen that Israel goes above and beyond the requirements, as it should, as the United States does. The fact is it's being attacked by a group of terrorists who have a radical ideology, who don't see a distinction between military and civilian activities, who routinely conceal what they do by using innocent civilians to cover their activities, which they're still doing today in Gaza with rocket storage, mortar facilities, and a whole range of other military capabilities to use against Israel at a later date. This is an unceasing burden that Israel has. It's unfair to say the least, but to